Welcome to Caleb's Basketball Pod. Got this episode out a little late, but that's fine because now we get to speak on Game 1 and 2 of the NBA Finals and look forward to Game 3 that's coming up this Wednesday. So let's jump into Game 1. Game 1 was a lot similar to what we've been seeing from the Indiana Pacers, being the road team, being the underdog, being down double digits, coming back, and especially coming back late in games. Because we see that a lot. We see them coming back in the fourth quarter of games that we believe's over. We've seen it in every single series now including the NBA Finals. We've seen it against Milwaukee, Cleveland, New York, now OKC. So Game 1 was a lot of that. Game 1 was the Thunder led for all of the game but 3/10. So, very entertaining. And great comeback for the Pacers. We also saw balanced scoring. Now, I want to tag the balanced scoring because I'm going to talk about that in a little bit when we get to Game 2. For the Thunder, we just kind of saw them get tired. And I've been saying that that's what this Indiana team does. They're well on you all game, and by the time it gets to winning time, those clutch moments, you're tired. They torn up the gas. You're tired, and they just keep going and going. And it's not like there weren't a lot of mistakes by the Thunder. There was some missed shots, a couple of turnovers here and there, but not even a ton of turnovers. A lot of missed shots where you could just tell their legs were tired. The long game was getting to them, and that's when we saw the Indiana Pacer comeback. But what we did see was Shai go out and put up 38 in Game 1. Big game for him, and it was enough to just let everybody know that, okay, hey, we may have lost this game, but we have our guy putting up 38, and this is where I talk about that balanced scoring, because we would see it in Game 2. There was no one for Indiana that took over the game. Balanced scoring and the way they've been playing, and Pascal Siakam had a huge Eastern Conference Finals that's working. But when you're taking on a legit superstar MVP like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you're going to need someone to step up and try to combat because we saw 38, then we saw 34. You need someone, I'm not saying outscore him, but you need to get close enough to where it has to be other players that beat you, where you nearly match him, and the rest of the team has to beat you if you're Indiana. But you can't go head-to-head with Shai, not match him, and then the other guys are pouring in, and that's when the game gets far apart, and that's what we saw in Game 2. But for Game 1, Indiana kept themselves in it. 19 turnovers at the half, not down, in my opinion, big enough to where they could come back, and that came back and bit the Thunder. We saw adjustments, not only adjustments from the Thunder, but they just kind of keeping their foot on the gas. It seems like they went to their bench a little bit more in Game 2 than they did Game 1 as to keep guys more fresh. We saw a big game from Wiggins in Game 2. Chet Holmgren had a big game in Game 2 as well. He started the fourth quarter off with 11 points. He was on fire, very aggressive in that fourth quarter. And like I said, Shai's been the engine that's been running the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's still doing that. And he showed no signs of nerves or anything in the NBA Finals. Right now, it'll be interesting to see how he plays in Indiana. For Pacers, they're in Game 3's pivotal. But the Pacers are on a little bit of a tough spot because the Indiana Pacers are 0-3 in Game 3s in the playoffs so far. 13-2 in every other game in the playoffs, but Game 3s have not been their thing. And if they lose Game 3, Oklahoma gets their home court advantage back. So this is a huge game for both teams, but if you're the Pacers, you have to shake wherever he is about after you play 2 games against a team just coming out flat in Game 3. We've seen it 3 times now, so it'll be interesting to see if they can shake wherever that is. And that's what's also been giving the Pacers. They're fighting from underneath, and you don't want to do that in Oklahoma. Loud crowd, all the Pacers players, the coaches, they're aware of this, that fighting from underneath, you can't keep doing that against this Thunder team. So they talked about that in the press conference last night. They said they need to get out to quicker starts. If you're the Thunder, we haven't seen them change lineups all playoffs. But from Game 1 of this series, we've seen Kaysen Wallace in instead of Isaiah Harkenstein. So they're playing a little bit of a smaller lineup to combat the speed, the full court pressing of the Indiana Pacers. They lost game one, but they kept that same lineup in game two, so it seems like that's going to be their lineup. But it's fine because you're getting your vets coming off the bench, settle the game down. The Pacers bench tries to get things moving and going quickly when they come in and they try to keep pushing the pace. So you're matching them a bit. So I think that's fine if you're the Thunder. And for the Pacers, Halliburton had the game winner, but he only had 14 points in game one. Halliburton did not have a good game in game two. Pascal Siakam's been up and down. Nothing really all that impressive. If you need one of those guys, both of them to step up would be great. But you need at least one of them to step up and be the guy for you, or you really have no chance against this Thunder team. Like I said, you have to find points from someone at least to get close to Shea. Close enough to where you have to make someone else beat you on the team, or other guys on the team beat you. But when you're letting Shea beat you and other guys on the team beating you, you really have no shot at this point. But we're going to see a lot of adjustments. Rick Carlisle is a very smart coach. Like I said, we saw adjustments from Mark Daigneault in game one. After game one for the Thunder, we saw they didn't really let up. They weren't really tired. I think he did a better job adjusting the lineup, switching players out. They got a lot more from their bench in game two. And we saw a Thunder blowout, which I expected after the game one and how they closed that game out. Now, like I said, huge pivotal game three. We haven't seen Norris from Shea, but he's been at home. Be interesting to see how Shea plays when he's on the road. See if those Norths start to creep in, or see if maybe he's just built for this. Some guys are just straight up just built for these moments, these final spots. And then Halliburton, like I said, he's been one of the best players in the playoffs, no doubt. I need to see more from him. This is where, like, being elite, or this is where you have to step up. At one point, he had 3 points, 3 assists, and 3 turnovers yesterday. That was still in the first half, but that's a really bad stat line. I need to see a lot more from him. I need him to step up and take control of this upcoming game and show that you're a championship caliber team. This is where guys become superstars. He's supposed to be the head of a snake. Use that people calling you overweighted as motivation. Step up. And for the Thunder, I just want to see how Shea does in this. And we've also seen, I want to say, the pressure and the moments getting Jalen Williams, but he hasn't really had that great finals moment yet. So I'm expecting Jalen Williams to go off in one of the games in Indiana, and I want to see how Shea does when the series shifts and we go to Indiana. Also, Pascal Siakam, I don't know, he hasn't played as well. I don't know if he's not as aggressive as he was against the Knicks or what, but I think he needs to step up a bit. Role players have been playing pretty well for Indiana. We've seen some good minutes from Nembhard playing good. Miles Turner playing pretty well. Obi Toppin had 5 triples in game one. I don't think anyone expected that. TJ McConnell just doing what he always does. He's coming in. He's bringing the energy. And it's people are talking about, like, the ratings of this, and that's the lowest rating since the pandemic finals and this and that. Hey, this is really good basketball. You have 2 really good basketball teams, and if you love basketball, keep watching this series because you're in for a treat. And I picked OKC in 5. I'm still going OKC, but I'm switching it to 6. So I think we're in for 4 more really, really good games here, and I think at least 2 or 3 of the 4 is going to be really close, clutch games. That's going to be where you get some fun NBA Finals basketball. I'll be back tomorrow or Wednesday to talk about the Clippers and Magic from the first round playoff elimination, and also talk about some news and notes around the league. Thank you guys for joining.